And we want to welcome you to PrimePay's monthly webinar series for brokers here in May 2015. I can't thank you enough for joining us here today. You always have plenty of other things that could be part of your schedule, so we are very appreciative that you've taken time out of your busy schedules to sit with us here today. My name is Steve Jackson. I'm the Senior Vice President of Strategic Development and Channel Sales here at PrimePay, and we want to welcome you to this webinar entitled, Are You Losing Clients and BORs to Free? Wow, tantalizing, huh? So we are going to take a nice fun dive. We've got some great content for you here today on this particular subject. And I think, as you have found from our other webinars, we ultimately want to drive a practical use, practical strategies that you can walk away. Maybe there's one thing, a few things, maybe everything that you find could be something that you could utilize right here and now for the growth and the success of your agency. Let me just go over a few of the logistics here today. The two most common questions that I receive each and every webinar that we do is, will we be able to get the slides, and are you recording it? And the answer to both is yes. We will be providing a follow-up email to everybody who has registered, and we'll provide certainly the presentation slide deck and certainly the link to the recording. You may always feel free to go to our Broker Concierge YouTube channel, and that is where we post all of our webinars, so publicly. You can go, and this particular webinar will be posted, a couple days. Usually it just takes a couple days to get that posted. What we've also grown accustomed to us for is also a summary of all the questions that were asked during the webinar. And on a lot of our technical guidance type of webinars, those questions, we get a great amount of feedback, and you guys love those FAQs. For today's webinar, it's a little different. We're really focused on sales strategies, and a lot of questions that you may ask are going to be very personal, right, to you. And your agency. And I still want to hear from you. I still would like to hear those specific questions. But we will probably not be providing an FAQ. We will instead, just contact you directly afterwards and drive, hopefully, an answer or resolution to those questions after the webinar has concluded. So, today's webinar is Are You Losing Clients and Broker of Record Letters to Free? I'm sure that for a lot of you, you might have, this might correlate it's so close to the environment that you're in, maybe others that are part of other agencies, what have you. Maybe it doesn't seem, I'm not losing things to free and BORs. But as you think about it, certainly before ACA kind of came into being, clearly there were free things out there, but certainly not the level that we see competition here today. And so I had found this cartoon. I love Dilbert, and they've always got some great stuff. But think about this. Running an agency or certainly managing your book of business is harder than it has ever been before. I mean, if you really think about it, you're a business, whether you own your agency or not, but you own that business, and your objectives are no different than any business owner or someone in business than any other business owner out there today. You want to grow your business with revenues, you want to reduce your cost, you want to provide a product that can reach the masses, or at least close to the masses that you can. But I want to, as you look at it, where I say it's harder or it's more challenging is that because of ACA, clients are more demanding. The challenge for you is to stay ahead of the trends, the legislation, and certainly the compliance requirements that are increasing each and every day, right? So ACA alone has created a multitude of demands from your employer clients. And it's also created this need to expand your product offering and solutions kind of well beyond the scope of a PPO plan or a dental plan. So maybe you feel a little like Dilbert there on that screen above. So just reading this, he says, I added all of the product features that each of you demanded. Think of this from an agency standpoint, right? Your clients are demanding a lot. Now Dilbert says in the center, now our product is a worthless hodgepodge of complexity. And then ends with, I appreciate your input. I couldn't have failed without you, teamwork. Each of you carries a reason, right? Why you got into business. And so the most important question that you need to address, you could add as many solutions and products and just become everything that everybody wants, but it's hard to do that, right? So the most important question that you have to address, right, is why? Why? Okay. So I'm starting off with seems like a strong philosophical question, right? Why does your agency exist? Now, some of you might sit here and say, well, my father, I inherited it from my father, or whatever it may be. But many of you who started your agency says, well, no, I'm passionate about benefits. I'm passionate about helping employers with various needs and desires and solutions. I love insurance. I love being in this field. I'm challenged. It drives me. But it's important for you, in order for you to think about your sales strategies and how you're going to grow and be successful in this environment, and not only attract new business, but also retain and drive more revenue from the existing clients that you have. Why does your agency exist? What are you passionate about? What drives you? And also, what it's not only about your agency, clearly, because you can think of great products and solutions, but if your client isn't willing to buy it, then that doesn't help either, does it? So why is also very much about your client. And it's not about PrimePay, although I'll debate any one of you in regard to why it is. No, but it's about your client. And I just want to give a little, just a quick story, that I had come up here just recently. A survey had gone out, and the same question about wellness, about the importance of wellness or the need or desire to learn more about how wellness would impact an employer's group, okay? The same question was given to brokers, and the same question was given to an employer or employers, okay, in two different surveys and polls. The brokers said overwhelmingly, there's a little small minority of those brokers surveyed that said, yeah, my clients are really not interested in wellness. Employers, on the other hand, said something completely different. The vast majority of those employers said, you know what, I'd like to learn more. I'd like to see how wellness is actually going to impact or could impact, my employees. So here, you have an agency, right? You could have focused on wellness, but maybe you didn't because, it's just not important. But the client says, you know what, that's important to me. So the why is very much about your client. So as you think about sales strategies, you need to figure out about what does it do for them, right? So it's why the solutions matter to them. Think about your agency and, just your day-to-day and what do you care about in relation to running your business? What do particular solutions and products that you buy, how does that help you? The employer's why, so when you think about your products and solutions, the why is oftentimes, if we get over the key objectives, right? I want to increase revenue, lower cost, the basics. Their why is centered around making their job easier and reducing their risk. Okay, so if you look at, one of the top 3 business issues or challenges of businesses today, it's risk mitigation. Right, so your focus needs to be on that why, but also you have a why, right, and that still is focused on increasing revenues with your current book of business. Sure, there might have been a shrinkage of commissions due to ACA and all of that. So how can you take that current client base and how can you maximize that? How can you increase revenues? Your sales strategies should be focused around increasing revenues with your current book of business. Attracting new clients. Clearly, if you're in the growth mode, you want to focus on attracting new clients and clearly creating more stickiness with current clients. And even beyond that, competing. okay? And we're going to highlight a couple things here that I think will help you better in that compete department, okay? So clearly, your products, your ideas, your solutions, they must align with the buyer, right? So it's the clients. So again, as you think about sales strategies, you need to focus on, what are your clients? What are they most concerned about? What are those specific business issues? And each client is going to be different, clearly. But what are their needs and desires? And even beyond that, when you think about ACA and just managing all the day-to-day stuff, right, that an employer needs to deal with, how will they manage the various obligations that they are subjected to based on the decisions that they make, right? So I've put this kind of three things here about the changing business owner, and I've listed compliance here as kind of the one at the top. As PrimePay has continued to survey our clients, and as I've continued to hear from brokers, compliance is clearly one of the top three issues that your clients are facing. And so as you begin to create, adapt strategies, you need to really focus on how you can help your clients but to help them maintain compliance, because there's this increased focus clearly on just trying to stay current and compliant. Another big area that I want you to understand is that clients today have embraced outsourcing at a much larger and faster rate. Okay, it's a necessary business strategy. At your agency, you probably have a specific niche, right? I mean, it could be in a lot of different areas, and you might be the expert in that specific niche. Well, that's huge, right? With the amount of information and expertise that's needed here today, outsourcing is a necessary business strategy for all sizes of employers. The cost barrier to entry is low to have that outsourcing. And then one other thing that I want to mention is I had mentioned that first question of, why is your agency in business? Why do you do what you do? Think about your clients, the client that produces that famous widget, whatever it may be. What they want ultimately is this increased desire to focus on what makes them feel successful. And again, as you think about your strategies and some of the strategies that I'll lay out today, it's really focused on making them do what they love to do, to focus their energy, their passion on what they would like to do. I mean, no business owner is probably truly passionate about anything related to HR, right? I mean, it's kind of like, okay, I have to provide benefits. I mean, I need to do this and to do that, but what can your agency provide that could let your clients focus on what makes them feel successful? Some of the strategies that we'll talk today, if you can do that, the result will be a stronger partnership, a stronger relationship, a stickier, trusted advisor relationship is clearly going to ensue. So to understand your sales strategy, you first need to understand your client's why, clearly, as I mentioned here, but then we also need to quickly address the significant challenges affecting your business, your agency that you have. You're going to notice here that on this slide, I've not put such kind of common items such as, well, Steve, it's the 5-year anniversary of ACA, and we've had to adjust a lot of our strategies, and our challenges have come from the myriad number of legislative and regulatory changes. It's really affected my day-to-day. I could have also brought up, well, you guys have, dealt with the reduction in commissions from carriers and the changes surrounding that. We could talk about the small group mandated benefits and products that you have to, work around versus large group. We could certainly bring up private exchange opportunities, shop exchanges, healthcare.gov, right? I mean, these are extremely valuable to understand, and they affect your business today. But instead, I've really focused on some high-level thoughts on how those items that I just had listed here affect how your agency competes in the market. Also, how the weight of the increased demand of information, guidance, and ideas from your clients are super relevant. It's a significant challenge to stay on top of your game there. And then the last item, which is the not so simple to do, but certainly simply stated, losing more clients and gaining new ones. I mean, we don't want to lose clients. It's a significant challenge, right? So I listed the words there, solution, okay, but we're not going to show that here just yet. Let's direct our focus on kind of the first one listed, and that's on competition. What I have highlighted here is a name of a newer entry to the market. The name of the company is called Zenefits. I would think at this point, virtually everyone here that's on the webcast here today is familiar, with Zenefits. And we are just going to talk about it in fact and certainly just let you be aware, of who they are and what they are. But Zenefits, kind of a quick focus. They were founded in 2014. They've grown from a handful of employees to over 750 employees. The client growth over this year and a half's time has been to grow to over 10,000 clients. They represent kind of manage 100,000 lives in over 47 states. Their target market has primarily been under the smaller market, but clearly they are going after and targeting certainly larger clients there as well. Now, Zenefits is not, different to some degree, I mean, as a broker, but what they do is how they market it. They figured out what that employer wants. What is their why? Why does that client need this or want this or desire to have that? And so Zenefits sells technology, right? And in some cases, not in all, because there are a cost with the other services, but kind of the core services are free as long as the client signs a BOR, okay? And they provide I would say more of a simple, but it's robust, HRIS type of a system that provides benefits enrollment, on and off boarding of employees, retirement, PTO tracking, commuter benefits. They currently do not do any they currently do not provide payroll services, but certainly can link or integrate with any payroll provider that's out there here today. So, there's been some issues about rebating and such, but actually as of February, and at least with current information that we see with certain states, there's not been an issue. They've fought but won, as far as their model and how they go to market. So I want you to think about this. In a year and a half time, 10,000 clients, and they've done this based on selling more technology to the client. The employer has adapted and adopted that technology piece more than, I would say, anything else. Interesting, right? Another company, which is smaller, is called Namely. And just a quick focus on that. It was founded in 2011. They're based out of New York, out of Manhattan, but also are in San Francisco. They're on the West Coast as well, so they do kind of cover on a national basis. They are much smaller than Zenefits, but just through the end of 2014, they had about 60-plus employees. Now, they only have fewer than 200 clients, but their model is to charge a PEPM fee of, $10 to $20 PEPM, and they've targeted small and mid-sized employers. Their moniker, as you go on their website, just in quotes, is HR, payroll, and benefits for growing companies. And they provide not only the benefits, the broker of record aspect of benefits, but they also include an HRIS system that includes time off tracking, reporting, mobile application options, but they also include a payroll solution, talent management solutions, and certainly the benefit offerings that are needed here for employers today. And a quote here just recently, the company says, or they had stated, the company is part of a rising class of startups seeking to disrupt the way companies handle performance reviews, payroll, and benefits. And just in March here, they received additional funding and was named one of the top 25 startups to watch here in Manhattan. So kind of interesting, right? Here's just two names of entities, and they have looked at the client's why and are delivering on a solution that certainly enables an employer to hopefully do what they're passionate about, okay? And they have answered kind of that why. So back to this particular slide here again, we talked about brokers addressing significant challenges, and the first one here was based on competition. So what could be the solution, right? So you as an agency, as you're thinking about sales strategies and how you need to expand, you must consider or might consider, right? Must, might, maybe, you put in your verb there, but must consider a go-to-market strategy as a single-source provider of employee management solutions that's going to include compliance, HR, payroll, and benefits administration. Increased demand by your clients to bring more value to the table means that you're also going to need to consider adding internal expertise or finding preferred partners that can add these fully integrated compliance solutions, HR-related solutions, to your product portfolio without the need of internal investment and significant training. And then lastly, in regard to the challenge of decreased client retention potentials, new client acquisition hardships, trying to get those new clients, you're going to need to consider clear differentiators of solutions that are important to the client that makes you stickier, right? Some clear differentiations. So what I wanted to do here in 3 different strategies, I want to provide some insight that I hope will provide some real strong practical application for you here today. The first sales strategy is actually centered around technology. All right? So we're not necessarily talking about an agency management system or a CRM tool that you would use for your agency, but specifically addressing the why or certainly the needs of your clients. So when you think about the competitors out there, and certainly we have PEOs, we have ADP and Paychex folks that can do the same very thing as Zenefits and Namely, and clearly they are making an impact out there here today. So clearly employers are adapting these more comprehensive types of solutions at a much more rapid pace. So the first kind of sales strategy is targeting that first challenge, which I had talked about here, is the competition, okay? So where are they having some immediate success? Clearly in the 2 examples that I have shown with Zenefits and Namely, HR management systems seem to be providing kind of that competitive edge to their success. So there needs to be some strong consideration made by you as to how these platforms or systems could be tailored to your overall go-to-market strategy. So let's just kind of dig into the various flavors here of HR technology and understand some simple differences. Not all HR platforms are the same. I think you guys know that. There's so many different types of technology platforms out there today, and they all do different things, okay? They generally all have kind of a common thread, to some degree, but they all are a little different in the underlying solution that the employer is adapting. One good thing to note is that HR technology platforms are adaptable, generally speaking. There are 3 different types, if I could call, 3 different types of HR technology platforms. You have an HR only, which is really just focused on, HR related data. It's more of a repository of the employee data and information. You have a benefit admin only or administration only, which is really focused more on just it's the benefits, it's enrollment, it's onboarding new employees into the benefits, but it's really just focused on the open enrollment period and ongoing administration for benefit administration. And then lastly here is the HR and benefit administration type of a platform, which is going to be comprehensive, and again, the flavors of these platforms are pretty dramatic as well. You have just a standard HR and benefit where it combines the 2 here above, HR only and benefit admin only, into one. But you could also have more comprehensive types of systems that are going to have performance management solutions or applicant tracking that will also be included. So as we look at HR only, generally speaking, why wouldn't a client really be kind of excited or want to utilize an HR only type of a platform? I mean, it doesn't have benefit administration, just simply HR. Well, it really becomes a solid data repository because once you include not only the HR piece, but you also include the payroll data specific, as well, wow, you can really begin to manage ACA compliance, in a much better fashion. Now, can you fulfill all the ACA compliance pieces? No. I mean, you may not be able to handle information reporting if you don't have all of the maybe benefit administration information, right? So ACA compliance can be managed greatly through an HR-only type of a platform, but it's not going to be, the end-all be-all. It also is going to carry a lot of great reporting functions for an employer, not only for the employer, but also for you to be able to gather information in regard to, anything, census information to whatever it may be, right, in running a census report. Benefit administration only is again, more focused on enrollment. It's the benefits. It's the integration with carriers, right, integration with other vendors, the eligibility and status changes. I mean, that is huge to a benefit-only type of an HR model. Most of those competitors that I've mentioned, from PEOs, ADP Paychecks to, Zenefits to namely, they are, they all carry this particular type of structure. So status changes, onboarding, clearly self-service functionality and onboarding is a huge bonus for employers, and they look for platforms that can provide much more dynamic self-service functionality. And then lastly here, is HR and Ben admin, where you've got a much stronger, more comprehensive, dynamic platform. It's kind of going to do most of the duties that an employer would need it to handle. It's going to carry a lot of self-service functionality from an employee just, maybe entering PTO information, tracking to different things. But it's also very much personalized. So not that the others are not, but an HR and benefit admin platform is going to be much more personalized or customized as to the need. The modules that will be added or not added are really going to be based on what they need as an entity. And you're also going to get into more, what I'll call more compensation planning aspects. You can really start defining, driving more strategies as an employer by utilizing this type of platform. And the ACA compliance piece, you really start to do its justice, because now you've created a more efficient system, more efficient vehicle to managing the ACA compliance by utilizing, an HR benefit admin platform. Now, I've only listed 3 things here for each of these. Have I named all the advantages and disadvantages? No, not in the least. But it's just meant here to paint a picture. And what I wanted to do is just kind of highlight here a few of the examples from an employer standpoint of a technology sales strategy, okay? And then I also want to reflect it from a broker, your world, because I need to affect your why. What's important to you is your why you are in business and what you ultimately want to drive. But the employer's why here, these advantages, these systems, these platforms, depending on the type you get, you're going to have major integration, right? Carrier integration, vendor integration, payroll integration, which is going to create a massive amount of administration efficiencies. So the must-haves, when you think about the communication that these companies are providing with how they compete with you in the marketplace, they're basically saying, look, we're not only going to talk about the benefits and manage your benefit program, but we also have this platform, okay, that we want to give you or you're going to pay for, depending on the situation. But they also talk about how important payroll is, how important time and attendance is in regard to measuring your variable hour employees, the self-service functionality, the ability for employees to just onboard themselves, the integration specifically for eligibility, enrollment, for status changes with carriers and other vendors, COBRA, and the like. Very, very important as far as must-haves. And this is going to help an employer manage their costs, right? I mean, they can more effectively manage their benefits costs because they could run an age 26 dependent audit and be able to really have a firm calculation on who needs to be enrolled and who doesn't. Who am I paying for extra that I shouldn't be? Do I have a COBRA event here that I missed? They could truly manage their cost. And these HR technology platforms save can save almost 80% of their time by simply having information on one system or, you know, one or a couple different systems. Improving employee engagement is a huge advantage as well, right? These systems, the benefit enrollment system allows the employee to be more engaged about their benefits, maybe learn more about their benefits that they ever have had before. Many of these systems carry a decision support mechanism to help them as a consumer purchase or enroll in their benefit options. And also, though, as a self-service functionality, it gets the employee engaged, right? At least more closely aligned with HR, so they're hearing more about what they need to hear about. Exploring new options. I mean, technology always enables efficiencies, generally speaking, which could allow the employer to do more things. Maybe now, because they have an efficient engine running their HR benefits kind of administration, well, now maybe they're going to start offering more ancillary benefits. You know what? Just because I have a system in place to be able to manage that. Then we have, low-cost barrier to entry. Most of these platforms today are very, inexpensive, for an employer to adopt and certainly maintain. And then lastly here is just carrier, vendor kind of, agnostic. I mean, no matter how that employer changes or needs to change, these systems will be able to morph and evolve, directly with that client. So let's think about, too, your broker as a broker and as an agency. You also need to think about how if you think of your sales strategy in the technology forefront and you say, well, how can I use technology to my advantage? There are clear advantages for you to also be and take hold of technology. The one is, as I list here at the top, is accessibility and transparency. You will have access more than any other probably solution to a multitude of reports, information, eligibility information. Think about the strategies that you could end up doing and helping and assisting your client in maybe not their day-to-day administration, but just monthly and quarterly types of reviews. I mean, it could be tremendous. The major integration and administration efficiencies, if you think about it, truly helps you as well, right? You get those calls on a regular basis just about, oh, you know what, I forgot to tell you, that gentleman left our company. He was terminated like 3 months ago. Could he still have COBRA? Those types of things, right? So the major integration and massive administration efficiencies can truly help you with just the common calls, right, that you're going to receive, concerns. The must-haves are this: when an agency that is offering a full solution, meaning a technology platform that has the ability to connect with carriers and vendor partners, that is a win. That's a win-win and a huge advantage. I talked about exploring new options on the employer side, but it also enables you, because of the ability that the employee is more engaged in the process. It should enable you to explore new options in selling more ancillary coverages, voluntary benefits, which is going to lead to a stronger revenue generator for you. And when you think about it from an advantage, so will you create or build your own HR technology platform? I mean, you could, right? If you've got a great IT team, it is going to be a higher cost barrier of entry, but there is truly, to partner, it's very low cost for you to be able to offer a solution, a technology solution, as I'm mentioning here today. So this first kind of sales strategy is really focused directly at the heart of where some of the competitors that I've discussed, where they are centered on and where they are finding true success, right there in technology. And you need to think about how you as an agency, what type of solution do you want to adopt or adapt to? Is it something that could be built in-house, or is it something that you do need to strategically partner with? The second sales strategy is focused on that second challenge that I had mentioned, that significant challenge to brokers, which was increased demand by clients to bring more value to the table, right? So compliance is an enormous daily administrative task for you as an agency. The demand for information is growing at a rapid pace, and it kind of puts you in the position of becoming the perpetual learner, right? Technical guidance is difficult to understand unless you can break it up into practical kind of snippets of information for your clients to digest. I don't know how many times I have done our Measurement Madness, webinar, and if I didn't have an appropriate amount of time to really describe it, it's completely confusing. So not only do you have to talk about the terms and the definitions, but you need to show them a practical example of how it works, right? I mean, that's just exactly what you have to do. So let's look at a few strategies to increase your odds of removing this particular challenge with your clients. And so what I wanted to do was introduce 3 simple ways to add value to your employers with compliance in mind, okay? The first, I guess first is what I'll call is the door opener, okay? And is this like brand new, earth-shattering? Well, not necessarily, but let's see how we bring this sales strategy to life, okay? So this first strategy, you're going to notice that it only fills about 33% of the circle, okay? If we've got a circle here to fill, okay? So if you've got a sales strategy that's compliance, we want to fill that circle. We want to be able to deliver a complete strategy, right? So I just thought I'd hit on a few kind of key things. So, virtually every client and potential prospect that you have or will be in front of currently has a Section 125 plan, right? A cafeteria plan. Most also have an HRA or a Section 105 plan. Now, the need for NDT, non-discrimination testing, is real, but it's very inconsistent on how each employer is executing this requirement. So if what you can do is ask simple questions, and if you find no results or inconsistent results, from that employer or client, it's not only going to allow you to discuss obligations, but also direct clients on how to fulfill, this requirement. So what we see from day to day, time and time again, is that, clients who have these particular plans are not fulfilling this simple non-discrimination testing requirement. And so I want you to think about non-discrimination testing as kind of your way to maybe beginning, at least from a prospect standpoint, you can start to uncover some opportunities. What is the end result? If your client or prospect sees you talk about these things with some expertise, confidence in your ability is going to reduce the client's risk, and that's what we want. At the end of the day, we want to reduce the client's risk. The second item that I show here, this is a bigger nut, okay, right? So as you can see, it starts to fill the circle at about, we'll say 66%, right? So if you're kind of talking to your clients with this strategy about NDT and ERISA, okay, you're bringing a lot to the table in regard to what employers need to learn about. So think of this. 3/4 of your clients are out of compliance with ERISA requirements for health and welfare benefit plans. We probably safely assume that they probably are up to snuff with their ERISA requirements for their pension benefits and 401k. We won't go there, at least on this case. But as far as health and welfare benefit plans, they are probably not in compliance. So in your discovery phase, with new prospective clients, or as you're sitting down with your current clients, that renewal, or just an update, the ERISA discussion is vitally important because the enforcement is real, okay? Insurance certificates and insurance contracts are not ERISA-qualified SPDs, okay, summary plan descriptions. And so, when you hear from EBSA that over 200,000 formal inquiries were made last year in conjunction with employees feeling that they did not receive the proper notifications from an ERISA standpoint, you can understand why employers should start to take more notice on their compliance with ERISA. You can become the hero, kind of providing solid insight and an action plan for employers to comply with this major compliance requirement. So as you think about this, the end result that we're trying to achieve is to help reduce the anxiety for a potential Department of Labor audit. We can't sit here and say that every client's going to have an audit. Clearly, that can't be stated. But and you can't necessarily go, well, it's not if, it's when, right? Because not all clients will go through an audit. But it is clear that the EBSA, Department of Labor, has ramped up the enforcement of ERISA, and a lot of this enforcement has come due to the result of ACA, the Affordable Care Act, okay? So the last item is the one that I just touched on, and it's the elephant in the room, right? The third compliance strategy here, sales strategy, is centered around kind of the behemoth, legislative and regulatory issue of our day, and that's ACA. And as you can see, this fills the circle completely, okay, at 100%. All right. This slide cannot adequately reflect each and every regulatory requirement that your clients are going to be faced with, right? I can't list everything out. I mean, everybody's a little different. However, your value and strategy will be to showcase how your agency helps clients manage this maze of requirements. How far do you go? How detailed are you? Do you just give facts about ACA, or do you actually help your clients manage the various administrative tasks that they provide? I mean, how do you become part of the client's team, right? So determining which various rules and regulations apply, to a particular client or prospect is one thing, but guiding them in a practical matter is certainly another. I listed there on the screen, affordability, determining affordability, the, measuring their part-time employees, the variable hour employees, and monitoring them. A big one is right now is the information reporting requirements, and, what it requires is data verification and validation, right? I mean, there's a process for that. And where are you in that solution? Are you central, or are you on the side? Are you just providing some facts and staying out of the way, or are you actually more and more involved? So ensure, as part of this sales strategy, as you think about your compliance strategy, ensure that clients need you for your information, but also how to practically guide them through all of that, okay? So as you look at this, okay, this compliance strategy, each of these strategies can stand on their own, and they all can actually benefit your agency greatly, right? But all three, combining all of these three, will ensure that you are driving compliance guidance, ideas, and solutions at the highest level of your client's needs. And this ties in now to that second significant challenge of clients demanding more from their benefits broker. The last item, the last sales strategy and final strategy here that I'm sharing with you today is maybe a little different, okay? It's what I call your go get growth strategy. It's your differentiator, okay? This ties into the third significant challenge that I had listed that said, talked about a challenge of decreased client retention and new client acquisition. So it's important, right? We all want to increase retention. We want to grow and attract new clients. And it would seem to me that every business wants to attract clients and keep them. And as a benefits broker, you are absolutely no different. And as I mentioned earlier, the client's why is very important. But this particular sales strategy here is really focused on your why. Why are you different? Why do you get out of bed every morning? Why are you so passionate, about what you do, right? So it's taking that red little PrimePay guy there, and instead of standing in line, they're running. She's running. They're out of the gate. They are creating a differentiator for their agency. So what is your differentiator? Now, I've broken this up into three different kind of elements or parts, okay? And these three items are kind of, they're vital in helping for you to determine your differentiator quality or qualities, okay? So the first one here, and I've got a few words listed there, but the first is what I call your knowledge base, okay? What do you know about compliance issues of the day? What do you know about unique strategies? Your knowledge base is a clear differentiator in the market. When you look at your competition, do you recognize that they have just maybe, I'm not even saying better ideas, they just have stronger ideas, many more ideas, unique strategies that's part of their agency, right? So clients need you for ideas, and these ideas can be benefit related or not. Clearly your clients are asking you questions about everything in life, right? No matter if you are impacting them or not, or actually providing that particular solution. So ideas is one thing. They also need you for skills. Okay, as I had listed there, maybe you have a niche in the self-funded market or nonprofits or tech companies, whatever it may be. Clients also need you for expertise, and this is going to be where they're going to ask you from ACA to HIPAA to, the Department of Labor, HHS, IRS, ERISA, identity theft services, business succession plans, whatever it may be. It might come from a lot of different things. Also, ROI, return on investment or equity, analysis. Are you simply providing solid strategies to reduce the cost to the employer? So this first one is pretty vitally important, for your differentiation, okay? Is this knowledge, base found in-house, or is it outsourced, right? That's something from a differentiated view, and your value proposition is what you're going to need to determine. The second thing here is build your own. Okay, and it's a pretty important element to your differentiator as well. So whether it is in-house produced, okay, where you've created or built your own technology solution or compliance solution, or you've done that with a value partner, you can create a value proposition for your agency that is unlike no other. Creativity in this spot, this build your own kind of part of your differentiation, is all about you. And how you and what you will ultimately want to deliver in the way of solutions to your clients, right? So that's completely up to you. This last one here, this third element to this go-get growth kind of sales strategy is centered around sales philosophy. Now, immediately I'm kind of feeling your curiosity building, as to why this is included in the differentiator, okay? But I want you to think about something. Sales philosophy becomes very important in distinguishing your go-to-market strategy. Think about this. Will you attack your market? Go after it with fervor? Are you going to simply go after your market or make kind of taking a maintain position of simply holding on to the client base that you already have? So your differentiation becomes very important, as it will be the guiding force kind of directing solutions to your clients and your prospects. So, as ACA started to take hold, as I was thinking about this, a general go-to-market strategy that we would hear a lot about from brokers, from you all, is that you need to become, quote-unquote, the broker of the future, right? You need to I got to change my game. And what that means, or what that meant, was that you simply could not just go through the same standard motions for sales and service like you were accustomed to, okay? So let's take kind of take the broker of the future mantra here and apply it to what I have just listed here as part of your differentiation. So as you look at the first one that I had laid out, it was based on ideas, skills, expertise, ROI analysis, right? You can put a lot of other words, up here, but just some key things that I had put up. If you think about how you or brokers that are not part of that broker of future mentality, then brokers submitted their proposals and solutions and ideas and strategies and ROI through a spreadsheet. Now, if you really think about your differentiator, if you really truly understand your client's why, you're now going to align benefits and solutions with employers' business strategy. I mean, clearly, you can no longer win business by spreadsheeting plans and products from multiple carriers, right? I mean, that doesn't work any longer. Brokers today must differentiate by focusing on the client's why and what their overall business strategy is focused on. I mean, you may still spreadsheet items, clearly, but if done effectively, you're now doing it with the overall needs, desires, and wants of the employer and their employees, right? Second thing, I listed kind of build your own as part of your differentiator. This is a big one, right? The old way, the yesterday way, was really focused on benefit only, right? I mean, I know benefits. I'm an expert. I know it better than anyone in my area. I will stand toe-to-toe and take on any broker, any competitor on benefits, right? But that was yesterday. Now, really, your differentiator means to you that you need to expand your offerings based on your why. So the Zenefits and Namely models that I had just shown as examples, reflect that benefit-only models are a dime a dozen, and differentiation must exist. Your why is different with every other benefits broker, right? Because everyone's different. You all have different objectives and goals, and your differentiation will include a kind of this ramp up in either in-house resources, but it's also going to be aligning with strategic partners to go to market more quickly and at a lower cost, right? So you need to determine what that expansion of your offerings will be, again, based on your why, and where your passion sits. The last thing here is sales philosophy, and I show it here as, yesterday it was commodity selling, right? But today it's consultative selling. Your differentiator needs to drive or be centered around a consultative sell approach. Many of you have heard that before, but you need to find yourself kind of proactively moving in a consultative sales approach. Become the partner to the client. Become a stronger advisor to the client. Become the key resource to the client. This particular philosophy will enable the third significant broker challenge, right, where I talked about, an increased client retention and attracting new clients. It's going to reduce that specific challenge because acting or becoming a consultant and a trusted business advisor will increase retention of current clients greatly and attract prospects by leaps and bounds. So as we think here, these three sales strategies are centered around technology, compliance, and clearly kind of your specific differentiators, okay? And I mentioned all of these are vitally important as you consider your role and your agency's roles, responsibilities, and solutions. And ultimately, you need to answer your client's why in order to really drive that approach. PrimePay can help you, with each of these significant challenges that you are faced with. And you have to put PrimePay in mind as you consider your outsourced or preferred partner relationships, but we can assist you in each of these critical and important sales strategies. I show a list here of a suite of services, and it only represents a portion of the overall service and solution commitment that PrimePay has made to you, not only just made to employers across the country, but our commitment to you. So as each of these solutions are generally standalone solutions, which is very unique out there, at least in regard to other competitors out in the market, your agency can truly choose which solutions would be the right fit for your agency's why. Okay, so you're going to find that PrimePay is in a very kind of a small company, okay, as it relates to the breadth of services that we provide, this hire to fire, complete employee management solutions, and why we reflect kind of so strongly our commitment to you, brokers, our partners, and taking a stand not to compete with your core business activities. Our why, if we were to talk about PrimePay's why, is tied to improving your bottom line, increasing your top line revenue, and helping to increase your retention and solidify your relationships with your current clients. Many of you are familiar with our broker concierge partner resources. This program is really truly a program committed to brokers to really help with sales, service, support related issues and concerns, and we've really broken this up into kind of three different areas. We've uniquely designed this to equip you kind of with the knowledge, the tools, and resources to help you complete your why. And it includes items such as marketing resources, educational resources, and other enrichment tools to help with the key significant business challenges that you are facing, but also to deliver the why for your employers. So the most important question, right? So as we've kind of gone through this here today, as we kind of conclude today, and you begin to think more deeply about why does your agency exist, you need to determine your why, right? So the most important question, right, is why, okay? So, clients buy your why, all right? It's why they're passionate. I mean, you buy the Apple Watch. I mean, maybe you don't buy it because it works it's because it's awesome. It's the cool thing to do, right? I mean, there's reasons why people buy Apple products, and there's many various reasons why. But your clients are buying from you for certain reasons. There is a why, and so what are their needs? How will you address their specific business challenges? Each client's going to vary for you, and you need to understand that in order to deliver, you need to understand that, I guess I should say, in order to deliver your expected value proposition. So I've included some language here that could possibly become your why. Ultimately, this needs to come from you, but, it'll provide a framework for your thoughts. So think about this. What if you started with your why stating that, not that you sell benefits and HR workforce management solutions, but what if you started your why with, hey, everything that we do is to maximize our clients' bottom line, which includes reducing their overall insurance cost burden, helping them to manage these processes by creating massive benefit and administrative efficiencies in their organization, mitigating the client's heavy burden of compliance, and helping them attract and retain best-in-class employees, right? Wow. Ooh, that's strong. Again, that's my created why for you. But your why needs to be centered around what the client's why is all about, okay? So what's your how look like? We have a team of experts and partners that deliver cutting-edge ideas, technology, and resources that focus on creating a constant improvement and efficiencies for in our client's business. And so what do you sell? Okay, I got all that. That's awesome. Oh, we provide comprehensive human capital, employee management solutions. So I want you to think about, your why. And I hope today that these sales strategies actually kind of shed some light as to really, if you focus a little more on what the client's why is about, it's really going to formulate what your why is going to mean and ultimately be delivered to your clients. I want to just talk about just two things here before we head out here today in regard to two items that we have here. This one is exclusive for BC partners, our broker concierge partners, but it actually goes towards what your client's why is all about, okay? And that's about information, compliance, understanding not only the regulations, but also understanding practically how to deal with them and administer them and manage them. So we are offering our broker concierge partners free client webinars and seminars. And we've already held several of them here throughout this year. And we'd love to talk to you about establishing a specific client webinar or seminar where we can actually make you as an agency look pretty good. Make sure that you're set at the forefront of knowledge and expertise, right? So we want to offer that. This is a free service for our BC partners and can truly make an impact in making your agency be differentiated from your competitors. Now, not just for BC partners, this is for all of our broker partners out there. We are currently holding an awesome campaign right now in which we call PrimePay It Forward. And we have many broker partners all across the country, and you request proposals for your clients on an ongoing basis, and we thank you to no end for your business and the trust that you've put in us. Well, what we'd like to do is this. If you refer a client to us and you enable one of our channel sales team or PrimePay sales team to actually have an in-person appointment with that client to talk about those various strategies and compliance needs. This program enables, if we have that meeting, just the meeting, we will give you an option. You can either take a $100 Visa gift card or apply a $150 service credit either to your services that you would have with us through your agency, or you could pay this credit or gift card forward to your clients. Cool, right? So new PrimePay promotion, it's called PrimePay It Forward, but this is specifically for benefits brokers and the referrals that you provide. And you can get more information directly from our channel sales team. So, why PrimePay? We are passionate about helping brokers, agencies spend time on the things that matter most to them. And as much as we're talking about you, talking about your involvement in determining your why, what you can deliver to your clients, we ultimately are not only thinking about employers, but we're thinking about ways to equip and drive success between PrimePay and your agency as well, so that we are aligned with your why, right? All right, so thank you so much for attending. We will be sending the links to the recording, the presentation slides, and also the client webinar offer flyer out to you all, so you will have that information. As always, if you have any questions, you can reach out directly to our broker concierge team at the email there below, and then all the recordings will be posted to our broker concierge YouTube channel. Just look for that here in the next couple of days. So with that, thank you so much for our current broker partners, for the business that you have entrusted us here in 2015. We look forward to talking to you further about maybe more personalized, specific sales strategies that could pertain specifically to your agency, to your business. We'd love to have that conversation, and so please feel free to reach out to us with questions and ideas. This will conclude our webinar here today. Have a great day, and we'll see you next time. Thank you.